Well, 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 hello everyone. It's your girl Marie Sins, and as you can see, I have the incomparable, the lady of the hour, Miss Allie is what we call her.
Hey.
Hey girl, hey, how you doing?
Hey.
Look,
Hey,
I'm like, I
y'all.
don't know if the people that like I talk about you on the podcast, and I've talked about you, well, most on the podcast because I do that every day, like a daily inspiration.
Mhm.
And so anytime I call it updates with old Allie. So I'm like, okay, this is what's going on now, and that's what's going on, and this is what I just observed, whatever. So,
This is what happening
um,
today, and it's gonna change in a second.
right, right. And so I don't know if my people's being understood. I'm like, no, this is an actual person. Like, this is one.
Yeah.
Everybody was wondering, here she is.
Yeah, we get that so much. We get that so much. I think Thanksgiving and Christmas, a lot of people had so many issues with their families that follow us, and had different views or just didn't know about things. So they're trying to say it and they're trying to explain it, and everybody's like what book, what movie did you get this from? And they were like, she right here.
Right. Right. It's like, no, this is an actual person. So if anyone was ever wondering who Allie was, I have been blessed with this opportunity. I don't know why, but I just thank God for it. And I was blessed with the opportunity to have you on my little old God, Sex and Love.
No, it's amazing. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I really appreciate any time to be able to speak and raise more awareness, I guess is the right thing to say.
Mhm.
But at this situation now, it's just, I was taking interviews or, trying to speak out, and then it just got a lot. So I needed a minute in
Right.
between. And
Hmm.
now we ready again. So
Hey.
I
Well, like
don't
I
know
said,
what we're saying today, but
I'm
woo,
honored.
I got
I'm
seatbelt.
honored.
Thank you.
No
Thank you.
problem.
You too.
Please, real quick, I don't want to go without saying hey to Mama Bear on the live. There go Mama Bear right there. And we got
Yes.
Grandma in the back trying to,
Yep.
Grandma,
live.
Grandma Bear
Yeah.
right here.
Hey, Grandma! I told them we all family now, so, they my
Yes,
Mama Bear
Yeah,
and Grandma.
that's right. We stopped. We stuck. We stuck. Mom and Grandma, get in the car.
I
In the
gotta say
car.
hello to them. I can't not say hello to them.
That's right.
Man, I
Yeah.
know there's so much to say. Like, maybe I stood out because I did a little challenge. Let me go ahead and call that out now.
Oh
Because I'm
no, it
calling
was
out the
more than
rest of
that.
y'all. I'm calling out the rest of y'all.
Let's go.
Where y'all at?
The
Allie done put out a
challenge.
challenge.
Where y'all
She
at?
said
Where y'all at?
challenge. And I'm the only one that answered. I don't understand.
I don't. I don't.
Man, I'm like, with all the crazy challenges that people do, I think that was the thing that stuck out to me because when you said it, I just was like, this might be something that would actually help because, I could see it kind of going viral and people feel like, why are people going under their table? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
drum up curiosity and for the cause. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'll do it. I'm sitting here thinking I was going to see some more people doing it. I
Me too. Me too. And somebody was like, that's too personal.
like,
I'm
like
like,
that.
all right.
And I get that. I get that. I know I shared with you the other day that, like, man, like I said, there's just so much to say to you. I've said some in my little chat box. I don't know how much I should reiterate, but um, okay, let's stay focused on the challenge. Challenge. Okay, so the challenge.
Everything. We're gonna touch so many subjects. We just gonna need y'all to all follow us. We're doing this
Keep up.
again, but there's just so much. There's not enough room. There's really not enough. I don't even think we would put a dent in it, to be honest with you. I swear I want to be able, like everybody's like, why won't you just drop all this information? Why won't you just tell all these things? Why can't you just put it all out there? And I'm like, because if there was enough time in the day, if I can touch one subject for you, I would. When we started talking, it was never for anybody's benefit. It was never for anything like that. I don't know what possessed me to do it, but we just started doing it with my mom one day. And I mean, the talks never were under 2 to 3 hours. And it never touched one subject in 10 minutes. It was always bing, 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 bing. And there's so many reports. There's so many police reports and CPS reports and trafficking reports that I went through. And I keep telling people, like, if I could if I could tell you everything, I would. I would. Some things I really don't know how to put into words. Some things are very buried. Um, some things hurt a lot more saying. Uh, and I don't, like I said, I just don't think there's a way to put a dent in it. And I've talked to other survivors and other people who are starting to share their stories, and they've told me as well, you know, I've been speaking out for so many years and I'm older than you, and I've tried to put the story out, and I don't think I could put a dent in it either. And it's hard, and I want to be able to just word vomit everywhere, but it's not possible. It's not possible to share everything, and there's so much information. Like, I feel like people get caught up, like, well, you know, I wanted to talk to you about this and I want to talk to you about that, and it's like, oh, there's so much information to go around. I think we could leave people rocking with stories that you would never be able to sleep with again, because that's how I don't sleep that much. My mother has her grays are growing in, and I can tell you exactly where mine are, like who put them there on what side. It was not my other sister, it was me, you know. Like, it just, there's so many things, and we try to laugh. This is our coping mechanism, and so many people are like, how do you laugh? We have very dark humor, and it's our coping mechanism. I feel like one day, and I say this a lot because this was always my biggest secret, is I feel like one day I'm going to start crying, or I'm gonna say something that's going to slap me in the face that I'd never said out loud, and I'm not gonna stop, or I'm gonna break or something, and definitely don't want that to be on camera, because this is not this is not information that some things when we started doing this, I was, you know, talking to my mom, or talking with my mom, and then one day we went to a trafficking march, and I got out of the car in Los Angeles, Skid Row, where I used to live as a kid. We went back there. I just wanted to see the woman that took care of me slightly. I heard that she was still there in the shelter, and I don't know. I never get out. I work down there sometimes, but I never get out in Skid Row. I just don't. I don't go back to that side of me. I was hiding in plain sight for a little while, and I'm able to do that kind of in year spans until somebody finds out something. You know, at one point after I got clean, and, you know, we were starting to live adopted with my mom, I tried to have a job, and, you know, it went good for a little bit until somebody found out where I was, and then we had people, you know, smashing my car window and putting stuff in my gas tank. Anybody that took me home or tried to take me home after work, if I tried to just, you know, be normal and, you know, carpool with a coworker or something, their tires were slashed. I've had people come into work. So I was a server at a very high energy restaurant. I can't sit still, as you notice. ADHD. But people were coming and finding me and putting pictures in my check presenters, leaving notes and a lot of money, saying, "You look so beautiful all grown up," leaving teddy bears and things with cameras and microphones in them. And I didn't find out till later. I was able to basically hide in plain sight, and I do every and anything I can to try to live a normal life now. I've always done that, but raising myself before I met my mom, that you see right here, because there's no other woman, I didn't. I've just done everything basically just how I know to do it. And I mean, I was a baby raising babies. I just do things how I know to do it. I don't know how to explain that. And some things people ask, like, why do you still do that? Or especially dance, why do you still? And I'm like, that's this, I don't know, you know, that's what I know. You know, I talk to a lot of survivors, and it's this, everybody thinks that survivors are supposed to act this certain way and be these certain people, or be these broken, just reckless, scarred up human beings that's supposed to stay in this corner like this lost mutt that's never going to come out. And you don't understand that you have a survivor probably next door to you, and you just don't know it because they don't show it. Not everybody uses their pain as a crutch. not everybody shows it, and if everybody wore their scars outside of their body for a second, if everybody wore everything that they carried, then nobody would talk to each other because nobody would be able to even look at each other. And I think that's how I feel about myself sometimes. Just I have so many scars that I don't think, you know, sometimes people would be able to accept. Yeah.
Well,
sorry, word babble.
you're good. Like I said, this is a open space for you, however you may need. I mean, from what I'm hearing, it's just like you had to do what you had to do to survive, and even now, at the point where, well, first of all, if you got anyone has anything to say about your smile, man, forget them because you have a beautiful smile and you should continue to. Okay,
Thank
one.
you.
And two,
Thank
I
you.
mean, it's like you're right. There's everyone is individuals. No one's gonna handle something the same way. So I know that I'm thankful for you for opening my eyes. Whether you know it or not, you caused a movement around the world. Okay, like speaking, and I know on one
Yeah.
hand, you probably could have like just you could have just tried to stay in your bubble. You know what I'm saying? You could have just tried to forget all the things that happened. But at the end of the day, right now, you're being a voice for the voiceless and you're being used in such a mighty way, as you can
Thank
see,
you. Thank
And
you. And I
there's so many
was,
people, so
yeah,
continue.
I was really quiet. A lot of things. My mom started speaking out about 5 or 6 years ago when she had enough. A lot of my pimps and stalkers came back. I was getting ran off the road. I was at 276, my biggest weight I had ever been, 276 pounds, and I was poisoned. I ended up in the hospital and dropped down to less than 100 pounds in less than 6 months, not even. People thought I was on drugs. People didn't understand, but I wasn't ready to say anything yet. People just don't want to get it. People can't. I feel like trafficking came up, and it was crazy because there's like a mass awakening going on. And when I started speaking out, I was like little by little, and every time I put up a video, I'm like, Mom, take it down. But before that, she was the conspiracy theorist. She was the crazy one. She was, where's your proof? Where's this? And she's like, quietly, I'm over here taking a dance class, just trying to live my life. I'm like, her proof is trying to get some peace. All right. So I didn't say anything. It was, my friend is on here. She said not even 6 months. I remember that. Yeah, it was not even 6 months. I dropped weight so fast. I was accused of so much. People didn't understand. I ended up in the hospital for 40 days because the doctors couldn't find the poison. They ran every test in God's name, but they couldn't find the poison. But they were curious. The weight kept coming off. I ended up on a feeding tube. I was basically on my deathbed over this poison, and there was nothing really stopping it. And this was all because a pimp tried to ask me to come back. There's so many things. But I said
I know
no.
into the little bit of your story. I mean, because obviously we're getting pieces. We're getting pieces of
Yeah.
it. And I know when I kind of first came across you, I had to like go back to videos and be like, okay, what? I can't even do it. So I'm like,
Yeah.
But I just
Rewind,
want to say,
rewind.
like, before I get too distracted, like, first of all, thank God for you, Mama Bear, like, for being able to come into Allie's life a as a instrument used by God to show her what love is and to. See, I knew y'all was gonna do it to me.
Don't do that. As long as this.
But for real, like, cause just to hear someone go through so much and just feel, I know you got to feel alone, and people feel alone, and I think that was the thing. Like, I know I shared with you that I did a film, and honestly, I know the film was risque, and I didn't understand it at the time. I'm like, I just got the green light for God to do this film. I'm like, because I was praying about it. I talked to my husband. Everybody was kind of, not saying everybody was cool, but like my mom was like, I don't know about that now. But
Mama always gotta hold up.
I don't try to, but my husband was like, he supports me and everything like that. And for me, I just was like, well, I'm just gonna audition. We're gonna see where it goes, thinking it wasn't gonna go nowhere. And then next thing I know, months later, they offered me the role, and I'm like, still praying about it, like, well, what you want me to do, And here I was going for it. And I was like, all right, well, I feel led to go for this role, and I didn't understand it fully, but I just was like, okay, I'll just do it, whatever. Months later, this whole thing, this whole story. But if I fast forward to when the movie came out, which was last year, I started to do the things that I had in my mind to do, just like, talk about, I guess, because one of the things that stood out to me when I read the book was that, to me, I was like, this could be any woman's story. You know what I mean? Like, this could easily have been me if my life was a little different, if I wasn't raised the way I was, or, if I didn't have a relationship with Christ and everything like that. This could be me. I can make this decision, So I was like, because of that, I'm an actress. I'm going to just portray this role because this is a woman and this represents a lot of people, women, and whatever. So that was like one of the reasons. There was several reasons I took it, but that was one of the reasons, right? So like I said, last year when it came out, I started to do things I had in my mind to do. Hey, let me reach out to people and organizations. Let me reach out to, can we talk to young girls about whatever case it is. Came across Lacey Ministries, which I mentioned to y'all before. And, that kind of opened my eyes to the realer side of, the exotic work and stuff like that, more so than the film did, So I was like, okay, boom, confirmation, But then soon after that, I came across you and your story. And I just was like, this is what I was talking about right here, like a real person that is like literally, and so the film itself, for me, it's like, it doesn't really even express the surface of what your story actually is. And so for people, I kind of just feel like people judge people that they have gone through stuff, or if maybe they've had certain lifestyles, whatever that they've been through, and they make certain choices. But then it's like, you don't see the other side of the coin. Like, so in your case, I think that's probably why, your story resonated with me, because I had just played that role. I'm like, boom, real person, But here I am talking about the sex trafficking now. Here I am talking about the kids now and all this stuff. It's just like, I don't think my mind would have, or my ears and eyes probably wouldn't have been sensitive to your story if I had not taken that role, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know for me, I kind of feel like it's it's like BA at this point. Like, before Allie, I don't need too much. I just know
it's not BC before COVID. It's
BA. After Allie, I'm like, I can't even look at anything the same. Like, I was already kind of like somebody that was kind of thinking about doing more independent type of work anyway, in regards to acting and stuff. But now I'm like, I just can't even. I can't look at Hollywood the same. I can't look at anything the same, knowing what I know. And then again, I think you all honestly just kind of helped me to be able to be sensitive to when I was ready. Like, when Lynn Wood started talking, I was ready for that conversation because I was listening to y'all already. So I was like, that's exactly what she been saying, So
I'm ready to go here. I'm ready to go here.
Right. It's like everything just really just coming all the way together for me, that I just was like, you know what? I probably would have missed all of this if not, like I said, not for you, the movie, and now not for you. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm just one person in this Allie's army. But
that's the thing with God, though. God already knew, and he moved you in the direction of doing the movie and preparing you. And it was the same thing with me. God prepared me before she even came. God was already preparing. So that's the amazing thing about God. He already is moving and stuff before we even realize, usually.
Exactly. Like, honestly, this moment right now is just, it has to be, you know what I mean? Because there's nothing else. How else would I have met y'all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know,
And everybody keeps like, man, I met you. And I'm like, this is crazy circumstances. But yeah. But it has to resonate somehow. It has to hit somewhere. Because if it don't hit home, then it's never gonna work.
right. And
Ever.
then that, you know, at the end of the day, like I said, I know that I know you were speaking about Linwood a minute ago, Mom, but like y'all are like the same to me in regards to because hey, you could have been living your life, you know, not doing what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
But the fact that you're speaking out on behalf of the ones that can't speak, you know, that well, one that speaks volumes about you, as well as like again, you know, it just I mean, honestly, like I guess that's the thing for you because I know I've listened to a lot of your lives, so I know some of the times you're like, "Oh, we're not even into the bad stuff yet," and I'm like, "What is worse than what you said?" Because
Oh,
you know what I mean. Like I can't even imagine what could be worse than.
a
Should
lot
we
of people aren't ready.
say it on
A
live?
lot of yeah,
What could be worse
exactly.
than this SRA stuff? This
Yeah.
cannibalism. What's worse than that? Like,
When
you know?
it gets
So
worse.
if it's worse, I'm just like, my goodness. You know? I can't even imagine. I know
It
someone
gets
saying that my I don't know if they're hearing me on you guys' other thing, so it's but either way, I'm gonna still talk. And hopefully they understand what I'm saying. But yeah, man, it's I like so I appreciate you all for doing this and you know that sacrifice that you all are doing right now to speak truth. And you know, I just hope people get ready. Like I am praying that, you know, the truth be revealed on a large scale so people will just have to see. Uh, you know, I know it don't look good right now, but I'm holding on to that belief
yeah.
that things are gonna come on out and everything.
It has to, that's the only hope that I have now because for a minute my mom, like I said, she was the one who was like no filter, has that faith. My mom has a bit of a different heart than me. I always tell her she has a golden heart because I don't think some people don't have that. There's something wrong with this one. She 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 gets into things that I'm like, why would you even want to? Um but before she's always had this, you know, we're going to get there, and I didn't. Which is why I never felt that we would be okay to speak out. Um, somebody really pissed me off that time in my bonnet. The whole the video that went viral and that turned me into all of this overnight was in my bonnet, and somebody really made me mad. They just pushed me the wrong way, and I didn't calm down before I went live, and it just went on kind of hell. But it's in a great way because but I don't think it can't come out now. There's too
Mm-hmm.
many people that know. There's too many people that are speaking on it now. There's too
Mm-hmm.
many things that are leaking out, pictures that can't be unseen, things that can't be unheard. Eventually, some people won't be able to walk down the street, and that's what I'm waiting for. Um, because the things that will come out soon that people don't want to accept are the things that people will never be able to calmly walk down the street and live with in themselves again. Um,
Mm-hmm.
just a little bit of things that people have been hearing. It's like, oh my gosh, that hurts. That's too much. That's this, that's that. Well, it's the same thing that's going on with everything that's going on around us. It's not too much until it's something that concerns us. It's not too much until it's too personal. It's not too much until it's in your home, because a lot of people didn't want to hear about sex trafficking because not my child, not my house, not my thing. A lot of people don't want to hear the things that are going on because I don't want that in my spirit, and that's not around me, and I don't think it's around me. But little do you know, you're walking on top of it. Your tax-paying money pays for it. Um, you're more involved and you're more lied to than you think. And eventually, with the way 2020 went and with the way 2021 is just, coming on in and tap on it, it's like, there's no getting away from it. It eventually has to come out. And when it does, a lot of people will not be able to walk down the street. They won't be able to come out of their homes, I don't think, because people are not mad enough. People are not disgusted yet. People don't feel the truth yet. They don't see it yet, because if they did, we wouldn't just be calmly having conversations, online. It would be the world burning down like it was last summer. It would be everything going crazy around you because people just don't understand. I wish, and I can't wait, because it's about time that the victims get their chance to see that it's not always them that has to run. I don't know where she went. Up. Did she freeze up? Miracle, you there? It says I'm still live. It's just glitching, probably. I don't hear her though. Miracle, you there? I think it's just glitching out. Give us a second. We'll see. It says still live. We'll just give it a second. She probably just glitched out. Someone just said they cut her off. Does anybody get sick of the same tactics? Anybody? Do y'all see this? Like, does anybody get sick of the same patterns? It still says live, so we're gonna wait and see. Maybe just bad reception. Because that's always what it. There we go. Just bad.
Man, I'm telling you. Wow.
I was like, "This what we gonna do?"
Y'all man.
We gonna do the same thing over and over again? Just take the post. Okay, we just gonna call it reception.
There's no reason for me to go off. It's literally plugged up.
Wow. So, yeah. Happens to us all. Welcome to the party. Welcome to the family. You got to get jumped in somehow. You just got. That's how you know you win.
Right, when this happens, right? Man, yeah. I don't even know what left off now. Sorry about that, everybody. But
it's all good.
I'm glad that you were still on, because I was like, "Man, we got to get back on it."
Yeah, I was like, I'm not moving. I'm gonna wait for a second, because wait for a second.
Man, that's crazy. Goodness. Again, so many things to talk about.
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh. Do we want to name drop or not? Because I can tell y'all, like, some person you said that shocked me. We got to talk about it.
Okay.
Right, I can say that. Should I say the name or not? Shocked me that you had said it.
Huh?
Somebody you said that shocked me. Should I say?
Okay, let's go. Let's do it. We're doing it.
Yo, man, it shocked me when you said Denzel. Like, I was like, oh, what did that I need?
Yeah.
But we gotta talk about it during company. But my thing is, for me, what it did for me was just be like, you know what? Because I already kind of was like, I was looking sideways at people anyway. People that are like, like that have followers and stuff, and they're out here like, I just say pushing things in a certain direction. You can kind of tell, like, if you're supporting one side versus another right now. I'm just like looking at you sideways, because I'm like, that side over there ain't talking about nothing good. And you know?
Yeah.
And so I was already kind of looking at people sideways anyway, especially celebrities that are like basically pushing the agenda and everything like that.
Yes. It's obvious. It's obvious who's who. People always ask me, like, how do you determine who's who? Do we know anybody that's good? And I'm like, give me a list of anybody who spoke out against human sex trafficking. Give me a list of the people who did Me Too, the hashtag Me Too movement. But where are they for the children right now? If you can make that list of those celebrities and those big name people, political suit people, blue check mark people, bank and money in the bank people. If you can give me a list of them, that will tell you who your good people are. And I'm talking about they started way back when. It's a situation that's been going on and going on and going on. So if they can send millions of dollars to the Haiti Foundation, the Clinton Foundation, if they can send money to Red Cross, if they can send money and put money into these organizations, if they do all that, then where is their money to get out and do something about the children? If you can get an answer from one of them celebrities, I'll tell you who it is. But other than that, I don't see a list.
And that's why I just was like, at this point, the way I'm looking at it is, all of y'all know about it until proven. Y'all know about it until proven not. That's what I'm
Some
saying.
people will be thrown by the comedians that know about it.
Well, look, they all in my book. They all know about it.
They all have some price to pay, and they all have to pay to play and get where they are. However,
nobody's really there on their merit.
No, especially if you A-class.
And see, that's the thing. It's like, for somebody like me as an artist, that I just love to perform. You know what I'm saying? I just want to be able to show what I can do as an actor. I jumped around I don't know if you watched my video I sent you, but I jumped around that I didn't know I was going to show everybody like that in that movie. But at the same time, I just really wanted the opportunity to perform and to be a lead and all that stuff. So for me, it was a dramatic work to perform it that way. But it's like, and you grow up thinking like, oh, I could be an actor too, or I can go and audition, or I can do all of these things. But you hear about the other side, but then you don't think much about it too. That's the thing. You don't.
No, and that's why I relate to, because and everybody asks me the same question: how are you a dancer? How do you still do the things that you do? How are you a teacher in that industry and you know what you know? A lot of people question me as a teacher. People feel like I'm mysterious. I have gotten fired from jobs because I'm too nice. I'm too caring. I've gotten yelled at and cussed out because I don't let babies put on makeup at 4 to 6 years old at recitals or things like that. I don't agree with it. I'm like, they already look, their eyelashes are already as long as falsies. Leave them be babies as long as they can, because if they're in this industry, you got to pile pounds of makeup on them in the first place. So, and as they grow as a teenager, they got to figure that out, face breaking out, whatnot, everywhere. So anyway, so, let them figure it out. As a dancer, I went back into the world about 2-3 years ago because I started teaching. I started dancing. Dance has always been my therapy. And people have always asked me, like, I'll go out to classes and I am always, it is like, this is my show. This is the concert. I don't care what you giving me. I'm about to perform this like this is my very last time doing it. The first 30,000 times we do it. I'm about to sweat my life out because I need to release some stuff. And this is what I do, and I do it because I love it. I have been asked to choreograph for very famous people. I have been asked to come on set and do certain jobs. I have been on set to certain jobs and turned them down and quit. $20,000 music set videos, and people, this is a big name, and I'm like, I know. I'm aware. That don't mean anything to me. My kids, my dancers, they know me as Miss Sally dances next to people that are very well known, or some people that are, high up in the industry. And I'm just like, people are people. And I know because I know the truth. I have went into auditions that were for Coachella or for things like that. I have walked out of the auditions if I got them. And if my mom had any idea on the outside, or if the celebrity was being brought in, she'd pull me out like, I never went by myself. I got back into the industry, especially to teach, but I was snaking through it. I know. And people are like, how are you? If you know what you're doing, trust me, if the people that taught me how to play this game, I know how to play it back. As you can see, we're still alive. Because if I didn't, we'd be dead, and you'd be out screaming our name in the street somewhere and not know the rest of the story. If I didn't know what I was doing, if I didn't watch, and if I didn't do the things I did in the way that I did them, trust me, we would be in someone's river right now or underground somewhere, and you'd never know about us. I've been in many situations where I've said, hell no, I'm good. And I've been in situations where it's like, it's just, I just want to perform. I just want to feel something. I just want to release. I just want to be here for the love of the entertainment and for the love of seeing smiles on someone's face. I love to see someone ace something. I love to see someone like proud of themselves. I think that is so cool. And you know that feeling when you have been working so hard on something and somebody acknowledges it, and it's like, me? You know what I mean? Like, you care about me? So there's that, but there's also a feeling in me that I think I've always said when we moved out of California, I probably wouldn't be the same person. I just don't imagine myself behind a desk. But I've never imagined myself sitting still in one place or even teaching at one place. I'm never still for a long time, and I can't be because of my life. It's just the cards I was dealt. It gets annoying as hell all the time, but
Wow.
it is what it is,
Let us
and
be
you have
great,
to.
huh?
You know, you got to do
Okay.
what you got to do.
Well,
Yeah.
it's my
Huh? Don't glitch. Where'd you go? Okay. I'm still live. So she's still there. She's just glitching out. I still see her.
I see you.
I still see her. Glitched out again. So I'm still there. I'm still live. So I'm just gonna wait for her to come back in. She's glitching. Thank you. Yeah. I don't know. I love you too, Shay. So much. You can only go so far to be a celebrity without doing something for it. Oh, she's coming back. Okay, there she is. Yes. I was like, I'm not moving. Mid-commercial, that's all this is.
Yeah,
Thank you for that intermission.
Exactly. So one thing I was gonna say to you is, well, one, they should want people like you for the children to teach the kids, at least somebody that cares, and everything like that. So nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I love my babies. I can't have kids myself. And for a long time, I wasn't saying that out loud or able to or even comfortable with being in a relationship. And I don't date because of that. Well, because of 1,000 things, but it used to make me really irritated, and like not a woman in that way. But I mean, my mom has never had kids. She's adopted all of her kids. Well, not adopted. She's had foster. I'm the adopted baby. But she's had foster and youth, and I think I have like 40, 50 sisters and brothers, but just in family, friends of friends of friends of family and youth pastors. And I always meet someone that I'm like, oh, you used to, all right. That used to be mom too? Okay. So, but I would love to adopt, but it used to make me angry. Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's many ways to be a mom. Like, even with being a dance mom, that's still
That's where I was going. I'm like, where was I going? I see myself and my little mini me's. I don't make them me, but when I finally get to Showtime and I see my little self, and my little 5-year-old tots are up to my seniors or in my adults, I teach special needs adults, and everybody is my baby. You could be 30, 40, 50. You're my baby if I teach you.
Oh,
So I can't imagine, dealing with what I dealt with as a child, but I've always imagined being, who I wanted someone to be and who I needed.
mhm.
I only know, I think, one woman. Her name was Yvette Lozano. And I don't think I can find her, but she was my, I want to say 4th grade, maybe. I was in a elementary school in a really bad area, San Bernardino. And I think she was the only woman who was very caring, very, knew about the bruises, but knew that if she made a phone call that I wouldn't be at school for a little bit longer, or knew that I wasn't eating and, I wasn't getting lunch the way that, so she would leave me inside instead of the other kids and let me, sit in class and eat lunch, or, you know, certain things like that. It meant a lot to me. And then there was the lady on Skid Row, and it was just a matter of, she gave me these snacks one day, and I'll never forget it. So it's the little things. And that's who I try to be now. Everybody tells me all the time as a dance teacher, they're like, "You're so extra. Why do you do the things you do? And you care too much." And it's like, because I walk into a room and there's other kids sitting there, and just because they're not paying to be in my class, I want to talk to them too. Like, they're talking to me, we're going to talk. Even if it's about a little booger on the tot's finger, I swear those are important conversations. I love those conversations. And, everybody always tells me, it's too extra. What is going on? What is it about you? And I'm like, if you only knew. If you only knew.
Let the lady live, man. That's what I say. Let her live. Let her smile. Let her do what she want to do. She's gonna survive, man. Survive. Let her be. That's how I feel about it.
I just like to be
Right.
blend in if I can.
It's crazy. Man, there was something else I was gonna you mentioned you knowing how to survive, and that you guys wouldn't be alive without like the skills that you acquired and everything like that. Girl, let me tell you about being one of your army on that day that your insurance started posting. I was like, wait a minute. Is this an insurance video? Wait a minute. I didn't get to, the first one I was just like, maybe they just, step a little late. I'm not gonna get too concerned. But it got like midday, and I was like, but I was always refreshing, like, hold on now, wait. Oh, they done posted another insurance video. Okay, wait a minute. I was like, girl, I was ready. I was like, you know what? I'm about to download these. I was like, don't we supposed to be recording these? We gonna download these. I'm telling you, I'm ready
Somebody
to go
write down, take a picture of yourself.
I was about to start a hashtag. Like, I was ready that day.
I can't express to you how much I have felt and know now that I'm not alone.
You definitely not alone anymore, honey.
It has been
It's all right. Let it out.
It's been get it together, Allison. It's been so long that we have tried so many times to say the freaking sky is falling, y'all. I don't know how many ways you want me to explain this to you. It didn't hit when CPS workers tried to silence me for telling on too many people. It didn't hit when one of my pimps cracked my ribs and they had to take pictures. It didn't hit when I went missing for a year, and CPS still collected money from me and had a hand in a lot of things that was going on. It never hit when we've even had police stand in the face of pimps and tell me, what do you think they're gonna do? I'm a police officer. So that means don't arrest them. That means let them go. So many times, I don't know, the weight that came off, it was unreal. People are like, I don't get it. To put it in ladies' perspective, my breasts were a size F. Like, y'all, stay with me. Okay, I'm not playing with you right now. I went from 200, almost 300 pounds to barely 100. At one point, it was feeding tube. It was psycho, and still nobody got that. I'm telling people are like, what is your diet? I want to know. And I'm like, it's the stress diet more than you think it is. And they're like, no, I want to know. And I'm like, it's, and when I tell people it's poison, I was chased down by a pimp. I said no to a bid. It don't make any sense to me. That's too much for my life. I can't deal with that right now. That's not a world that I exist in. That's not something that happens to me. So that's not something that I'm going to grasp. And now with the and I keep saying, we don't want a media cookie. We don't want a trophy. I don't want nobody's money. There are other people. There are other survivors. There are other victims who need your help, your love, your support, your attention. There are other people that have spoke out about this for so long, and everybody wants to, they're a scam, they're crazy, they're mental, they're this, they're that. Look at Lynn Wood, who risks their lives to say something like this? Who changes their lives around? I had a piece for a second. I mean, we went through hell every day. I'm not even gonna lie about that. We went through shit, but when we found peace, we took it. Whatever that meant. Everybody knows that, I'd be in a place and we dip. I don't give my location easy. If I'm standing somewhere and all of a sudden we have to leave, Nobody asks any questions. Do not make a scene and do not answer anything about me. We have to tell our friends this if we walk into a place. If we start moving quick, you need to move with us and don't ask any questions. We have to take these precautions that people don't understand, and I'm like, this is the way we live. This is not a game. This is not a movie. This is not a joke. This is not a scam. I don't want anybody's any damn thing. I want people that out of all of this, out of everything that we have done this entire time, we have met some extremely real, genuine people. And I have never felt like we were not alone in my life until now. So thank you guys. And thank you, because I'm like, nobody has ever cared. No, nobody has ever cared to the extreme of what I had to say, to the extreme of what I've been through. Nobody cares. And now half the freaking world cares. And I'm just like, stop.
We're all in all these different places. Love from Atlanta. I was trying to love from Atlanta.
ATL, let's go.
So
somebody was like, I'm from India and Pakistan. I came from Estonia, and I'm like, I am a little geographically challenged. But some of these places, hey, I don't. Don't help me right here. You haven't said don't help me right here. But there are some places that people are coming in with their flags, and I'm like, where is that? What is that? And how did my story even get there? Like, what happened? It's amazing. It's amazing. And we've gotten our share. We've gotten followed from state to state. We've gotten harassed by little people, big people, organizations. We've had people send in Secret Service cars. We've had people, oh God. There's been so much that's happening. We've had people slammed in witchcraft to the extreme. We've had people in car accidents because they cared about us or they thought we were near them. We can't go home because we've had people in the house, and that's not the first time we've had our animals killed. We've had stuff in the house. We've had stuff in front of the house. It's gotten to a whole other level that I never expected it to get to. And now we're here, and we don't know where we're going from here. We have no clue, because it's not just us. This world is in a whole other limbo mode that I don't think people understand how close we are to what people don't even realize. We are in a war that in so many wars. It's not just tanks and guns and, we see it, and it's a war that people don't understand. There's a body count that people don't understand, and it's not from the pandemic. It's not what you think. The numbers that are padding are not what you think. If people really talked about the real slaves and the real oppression of this world right now, then we can get some numbers out, and I can give you some names that you'll never be able to know about, because they won't be able to tell you their stories. They won't be able to tell you what happened to them. They won't be able to tell you the last place they were or why they're not here anymore. Nobody wants to talk about that. We don't know yet. We've had to go from someone packing up our home to someone keeping watch on the home that we have, because everybody has moved. Everyone has moved. So how much work does it take? Let's be real here. This is not a TV show. We live on an acre. I have my own dance studio in my home. We have animals. We had a pig. We have dogs. We had to farm all of our animals. We have things in our home. We had to take out evidence like it was a fire. And we knew a little bit before, because we have somebody who can give us some intel that's on the inside that lets us know, move to the left a little bit. And then there's other things that tell us just move to the left a little bit. And we were seeing when we were starting to put things out, like, hey, we might want to take precautions. So we moved evidence out of our home. I want to say this a little bit before the Bonnet video came out. and everything that we need, reports, everything that we need, it's in a safe place, very safeguarded place, until we get to the right person. People are like, well, have you ever been to therapy? Have you ever been to a doctor? Have you ever been to a therapist? Nah, not at all. Not one time. Of course I have. Yeah. Duh, we tried that. We even tried calling the police. Y'all see how that worked for you. But I have been to therapists who have told me, this is out of our scope of practice. They have tried to send me to a deprogramming facility, and they told us that it would be very painful to deprogram me or to work with the things that I've been through and to heal from it. And they would have to, it's all, basically it's in a center somewhere. And I'm like, no, that don't sound right, does it? No. And at that point we've had, we have a lot of medical doctors, a lot of psychologists, therapists, people that have signed off on things that have happened. We have evidence of trafficking and things that have happened since I was a baby, a newborn. We don't have a person to trust. We don't know who to trust. It got to the point where we were asking for help, and then right when we were asking for help, everybody was sitting right up close to Trump. Everybody was just, here with Trump. Everybody was like, that's my boy. Like, we cool. We talk all the time. Like, just get in the car. Just get in the car and we'll bring you right to him. Where's the car going? Oh, we don't know, but we can't tell you that yet. Just get in the car. And then we found that a lot of people in the Trump administration that contacted us didn't know each other. Excuse the hell out of me. I know it's a big office in the White House, I'm pretty sure. But I mean, at one point, somebody's got to know somebody. We don't know who to trust with that information. And that's another thing, like, what I wanted to add about that, being actresses and dancers and stuff. There are people with a heart that have a genuine heart, people like that still do exist, contrary to trending belief. There are people who just want to live their life and be happy. There are people who just want to do what they love to do without any strings attached. But innocent people sometimes turn for money. I've been in situations where somebody has promised to help me, promised to help my friends. I've even been sold to people who told me, you know, never mind, I changed my mind, I don't want to do this. And then a bag of money is dropped in front of them and nobody's got to know. Just for the night. I have been with people who, I've been to people, ordered to people who have kids my age. I was 14 as a stripper and younger, and I have talked to people and I've met a lot of people, and they have told me, I have a daughter that's your age, I have a son that's your age, I'm married, I have a family or 2 or 3 here and there. And I have straight out told them, well, you know, the truth is this is how old I am and this is what's going on, and they tell me not for tonight. That's not what the payment says. Innocent people always turn for money, and we have some information that we could give people. Yes, we have talked to one terrorist organization. We gave them information. I'll back up quickly from people who I can hear it in. You can hear when somebody's ready to talk at you, and you can hear when somebody's talking to you. You know what I mean? And I backed up. I told a terrorist organization that we spoke out to that reached out to us in the mix of this, and we gave them a drop that's in Mexico, a drop area. Their response to me was, they were sure that I had PTSD and that I was in the middle of a psychological break and that I should get a VPN because there are people tracking me. I was like, all right. Okay, hang on one second. I was like, okay, you know, it's not the response. Thank you. It's Sherlock. No shit. But, you know, it doesn't take Inspector Gadget to figure that one out. We got that one.
That's the thing, is the level of corruption on like every level, you know, whether it's small, down to the police that we know, up to the government. Like, I don't think anybody's really ready for this information. Like, and like I said, even with, like I said, listening to you all kind of helped me get a little bit more ready. So then, like, when I hear Steve Powell talking about it, I'm like, same thing. When I hear, that's what they were talking about, you know?
Yeah.
But even so, like, even I was listening to people, they were live this morning kind of talking about everything that's going on and how they tried to talk to their family about this or that. And they just, it's like people don't, and I think that's my problem with it, because I be talking on the podcast and stuff like that, and I'm doing the daily inspiration. It's like, you know, kind of sharing Bible verses and stuff like that, but at the same time, just kind of talking about it a little. But a lot of times when I'm reading it, when I'm like looking at stuff, I'm like, man, something can be so clear, but it's like, it's not that it's not there. It's, do you really want to know? Like, do you really? You just either don't want to change, or you don't want to know, or you don't want to acknowledge what's right in front of you. That's the sad thing.
And that's the problem. Like when we first started talking, especially when we went viral overnight, a lot of people were asking for this link because, you know, people didn't understand what our insurance videos were. We started making insurance before we left, because like I said, we started doing just those talks, and then we started getting a lot of threads. I had talked to, there was a lot of threads. We had posted some of those up so people could see, and I'm sure you've seen some of those. So we started making insurance videos. And I'm, it was just like, just in case something ever happened, just in case, anything, doing these talks, there's some things that just need to be made sure that we already have them ready to send out. I kept saying, if I had to, I'd drop the link. Or we did a Zoom video and we talked about the underground tunnels in the Getty Museum and my experience down there. And it was just on Zoom. It was really private. I went on one day and I was like, you know what? I'm ready to get it off my chest. I'm just going to say it. So whoever can get in the Zoom room, just get in. It was a free Zoom. It was just get in. And there was only 40 people in there. And we just laid our heart out. We actually had someone who their son was in the room and they had a weird situation where their son was taken underground too. So we talked to their son. Everybody was able to, be in that conversation. And a lot of people just don't know there's so many that are involved and they're right next to you. A lot of people used to ask me, are you from another country? Are you from somewhere else? And I'm like, no, it's in your backyard everywhere. I forgot where I was going with that.
Okay. With you talking about the tunnels and stuff, it's like there's things that you all have said that it would sound far-fetched to people, but at the same time, for me, it was like, well, you know what? I can't doubt it because I know this or I know that. For example, like when you talk about that you were trafficked or you have situations from when you were an infant. Now, nobody really fathomed that people are doing things to infants, but just recently, I want to say maybe even a few months ago, a news report came out about this dad that raised his daughter 12 months or not even like 10 months old or something. So I'm like, well, that happened above ground. Who's to say?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And everybody is looking like the elites. Yeah, everybody's like the elites. And I'm like, you got to start low too. Everybody is looking too high. There's people in the middle and there's people real low that you're not looking at and they're in your homes. And that's the thing. What do people do and get away with in broad daylight and above ground? There are businesses, there are truck stations, there are UPS federal stations. I've talked to numerous truckers in this time that have told me, I make drops to underground business developments. They're underground businesses. They're not public businesses. They're private businesses. Why do you need big businesses underground? And if they have businesses underground, what else do you think they have down there? Now there's some situations where I want some truckers to think about this. If you're married to somebody who makes these drops, ask them these questions. Just have them snap a picture when they go back under there to drop some things off, and just tell them to take a look when they first go into where they drop. Tell them just to take a look around themselves. Take a span. I went into one recently and we didn't know we were going. We passed one and we took a picture of it. But if you just take yourself around and just a second of walking into those tunnels, there's so many openings. Each one goes somewhere. Miles. There is no telling you where entrances and exits are. Especially survivors and victims who were drunk. Like, I can't explain to you how many times I was shit-faced under a tunnel. And there's lights in your face. And there's people pushing you and shoving you in directions. And there's people talking to you. And there's fumes of gas and all kind of things that's under that ground. Like, the air is different. You can't breathe. There's so much things going on. And then by the time you come on above ground, it's like a whole other world and you have to adjust. Like, if truckers can go down there for a second and get lost, if you can stand in one of those places and see that there are still construction workers taking walls out to create another tunnel, to go another way, where are they going? What exactly goes on in these businesses that can't be above ground? It's if the military was stuck trying to save people. And so many people were like, you have this link or you have these things. So I know where I know some places that I've been. I know, some areas, some drop areas. And I've talked to a lot of people about those. And I've talked to some people about those in depth to give them where I was, and then some people I've pulled back from because I know you're not in it to go help them. You're in it to recycle them. Y'all, people are like, oh, this information come out. When everything comes out, and when you see the people that you put your trust in, the people that you admire, you idolize, you would still fight for because they got money or they got fame or they got a blue check mark or they got a suit on, those people, you'd be shocked. You'd be shocked at the organizations that swear up and down that they're in it for the children, but they smile in your face and they take those children and recycle them right back through. Does anybody hear about aftercare? No. Do you ever hear about these parents that are still giving birthday parties to their kids who have been missing for 6 to 10 years? If that parent is going to stand out in the cold and still put a birthday party on and beg their child to come back home, you think they're not going to come out and say, my child was found 10 years ago by this organization, and I thank them so much? I'm not going to put them on camera. It's not to say something, but if they were out there saying, like, you know, something, then wouldn't they be saying something? No, you don't hear that. You don't hear anything after. You don't see anything after. Yeah, there's some victims who are like, I don't want anything to do with anything after, of course. But there are some that make it out. They turn into counselors, turn into public speakers, turn into other people. Where are they? Who were they saved by? Because not at one point did I have a military busting down the door to come get me or my friends. That's why I call us an army now. Nobody is my fan. I'm not anybody special. I don't feel that way. And there's no need to, I did this or I did that. It's what people need to do. There's no need to boast about it. It is what it is. It's something that should have been done a long damn time ago. But people just don't understand. Like, there's so much that goes on that it's going to shock people and tear people up.
Yeah, I don't think people understand the severity, and even like, I know we were talking about the whole thing about doing the alley challenge, which some of y'all need to do.
Yeah.
But you know, in my mind, I was trying to think, and I shared with you, you know, I was going to go there now. I was you know what, maybe I just need to do that, you know. But at the same time, I just was like, you know, well, the movie had just came out. I was like, man, look, everybody done seen enough of me. Done seen enough of me already in 2020.
You know what, though? That's the funny thing. My mom has never understood that about me. I am slightly comfortable in my own skin. So there are things that I get nervous for in the weirdest ways. Like, I don't get nervous to go on stage to perform or something like that again. And my mom will always ask me, like, why you're not nervous? You don't have any butterflies? And I'm like, Mom, so many people have seen me naked on a stage that I really don't get nervous. I don't. It's, you know, that saying of like, you're supposed to, if you're nervous, like, picture someone, you know, in their underwear or something like that. You know, that stupid saying or whatever that's supposed to be like, oh, you know, they're not in their suit, they're just standing like you and me. And it's like, nah, so many people have seen me, it's fine. Like, it just, that's such dark humor, but yeah. You know,
yeah, I guess for me, I just like that day, I was like, man, okay, I'm gonna wear brown. Like, I want to give that visual, because at the end of the day, like, I think that's the thing. Because even when I started to hear some of the things and what you were saying, as well as like when I started to do my research and hearing about certain stuff, I was like, I want to go on the dark web and see this stuff myself. And my husband looked at me sideways. He's like, you don't want to go on the dark web.
Yeah.
But
no, but the sad part is there's people who watch porn and they think that, you know, this is a time to be entertained, a time to get intimate, whatever. People don't understand that the sex life that people think is in porn is definitely not what you're going to have or accomplish. And what they're watching is a rape video. People don't understand the power behind that. And I think if people stopped looking at it as, oh, this is intimate and this is sexy, and people honestly started seeing porn as this is somebody's rape video, then we'd be on a different level. It wouldn't be something to be horny for. It'd be something to be angry about. So Yeah. Yeah.
Some people it's like they just have to see it though, so it's like, that's why I did like, why do you have to see a child cage? Like, why do you have to see a child being raped? Like, can you just take that, and just accept that these peoples are happening, or do we have to see it first in order to then do something?
And that's what we
Um,
were saying about that link. People thought in the beginning my insurance was some there's things in my insurance, trust me. But some people thought that I was about to send out this rape video underground. That's how it seemed. Everybody's like, I want this link. I want this link. We had people creating scam profiles on me because they didn't get an answer to this link. And it was like, if you get the link, then what are you going to do with it? And what are you expecting? Everybody keeps saying, she's a fraud. I want proof. What exactly are you asking for? That's what you need to break down and comments of people are, this is a scam. This is a scam. I want proof. Okay, so are you asking for a rape video? That's what I don't get. What else can we give to you? Because I got my truth. We have paperwork we need to slap down on somebody eventually, if we ever get to that point, to help us. But I don't feel like there's help at this point. But people were expecting, I'm like, what do you want? Because if you're expecting this bloody, gory rape video, then there's something wrong with you. Because why do you need to see someone being raped, someone being brutally tortured, someone crying for help and crying for air, blood everywhere, so you can get it, so you can feel better? Not even get it. You got it already. It's just you want to feel better to say, oh, well, I have this link of this rape video. Because at this point, I don't even know what the people that are like, oh, this is a fraud, this is a scammer. If I gave them the link to that rape video, then what? Then what? What are you going to do then? Because with the information that you have, and everybody run into these people, with the information that you have, what have you done with it? Nothing. I don't see anybody getting out making a backpack. I don't see anybody going out to a homeless youth shelter. I don't see anybody getting up off of their couch and making moves to do something about somebody's child. I don't see anyone doing that. And an individual that was a child that grew up into adult and just grew up into a broken person that still needs somebody to help them pick up the pieces. Where are you for those people? No, you just steady standing by waiting for a link calling somebody a fraud, but what are you doing? Then there's these people that are dressed up in these suits that are supposedly life coaches, organization leaders, Marines, people coming out and supposed to be helping the children. And then all of a sudden you dig a little bit deeper, and what have you done? Besides what you show a photo op for, the same exact story. What have you done besides the same story that you choose to tell your followers, not the real shit? Nobody's expecting anybody to put a body camera on and go busting doors down and taking out traffic victims so you can see, but I'm saying I see from these organizations, we got photo ops. It's a picture. It's a played picture. You hear the same scripted stories about the people that they saved over and over and over and over again. Like it's supposed to put that person on a higher pedestal every time they say it. Somebody needs to knock some people off their high horse and bring them back down to reality, because the people that are yelling fraud are the people that should be questioned hard. Especially those who swear up and down that they deal with victims or they were a victim. That's not how you act. That's not how it works. We have been on this road, sleeping in the cold in the car. There is nothing that I'm not the type of person like toot, ooh, I did this. Like, I don't need to toot my horn about it. But there is no horn. It's helping survivors. There's no horn. Like there's no horn to say like I helped this survivor. You do what's right. We've met other survivors that are on the road sleeping in storage units. No survivor is going to ask you for money. They're just telling you the truth. We've had money and we know the price of it. If you ask somebody for something, you know what I mean? You got to pay it back, or you have to do something. So nobody wants to ask for money. That's the last thing we would ask for. We would rather, I've said it before, but we would rather have this car stinking to high hell, heaven. We're going up, and escalator going up. But we have this car stinking, and we'll sleep in this cold snow. We don't care. The point is eventually the truth will come out. But we've helped other survivors, and there's no reason I did this and I did that and I did this. Just do it. The people that want a high five, a cookie, a trophy, $5 after the live is over, you know, get a membership so I can tell you a little bit more. Those are the people that need to be questioned, because those are the people that got some secrets and some skeletons that's deeper than you'll ever know. Survivors are getting slammed, as you know about Lynn Wood. Lynn Wood is getting slammed. He's a defamation lawyer. Why would the man ruin his life, drag his name through the mud, do the things that he's doing? For what? You just wake up to choose hell? It's not waking up to choose violence. You wake up to choose your I'm just gonna nix my freedom today. What the hell ever.
Right.
Everything that I have worked for, everything that I built my life for, I'm just gonna whatever. I'd rather be chased and ridiculed and belittled and humiliated, and people tagging me and putting my name everywhere, and God's name is saying I'm a crazy conspiracy theorist. For what? Why?
That's why, man, with all these confirmations, people should take it a little bit more seriously. Like, okay, say for instance they heard your story, then it's like, okay, I heard that, I'm not sure about it. Then all of a sudden, somebody like Lynn Wood, a defamation lawyer, somebody in all this credibility, say the same thing this young woman's been saying for months. We ought to think about it a little bit more, in my humble opinion. Not to say it wasn't true when you said it. Like, I took it seriously when you said it. But my thing is, this man done said it too. Like, hold on, wait. Then City Tower was saying the same thing. Oh, yes. Wait a minute. You know what I mean? Like, why are we not?
What are these big people? What do they have to lose? What are they coming out with? Why? You know what I mean? And they're still telling you, oh, we're not even touching the surface. We still not even scratching the surface. We're not even poking at the bear yet. I can't express that the things that will come out eventually, some people I think will have a psychological break. There are some people who cannot deal with this because they can't imagine, they can't stomach. I don't get it, that there's a little baby in my house, there's a 4-year-old, I have a 3-year-old, I have a 5-year-old, I know somebody's 8-year-old, but I can't imagine someone tying them down, hog ties or chicken ties, and biting them and taking chunks out of their skin. I can't imagine somebody brutally torturing them. I can't imagine them being, you know, taped up and put into a box and shipped to another country to be raped for 12 hours straight. I can't imagine that. Like, I don't. There's also some people who can't imagine. The people think 5D is one thing, but when you really find out, there's always a meaning behind something. There's always truth behind what's coming out. You know, elite, they hit stuff first. They get stuff first, and it's considered art. It's considered the high life. You know, you don't get to see that type of stuff because the elite have it. But basically, we're getting their pass-me-downs when they're done with it, and then technology goes up. When 5D comes out, when 7G comes out, when 8G comes out, there will be some things that people, when you understand what's actually behind transhumanism, you will be sick. There are people, scientists, who run experiments on children, who run experiments on animals, who are creating hybrid animals, children, and robots for people's sale. The Black Mirror episode with Miley Cyrus, y'all think that's a joke? Listen to her song Robot. She made that before, when she first came out. I just put that in our Telegram chat. But your stars, your celebrities are telling you, it's just people are too busy That's art. Do you hear somebody's pain? Are you listening to listen, or are you listening with the intention to reply? Because if you were listening to your music with the intention to actually listen to music, then you would hear the things that you need to hear. You would hear the pain in somebody's voice. You would hear the little bit of messages that they're trying to send to you. You would hear their diary, basically. And nobody, not yet. Miley Cyrus came out with Robot. She says that she is a robot. And then Black Mirror comes out, and you guys see that episode that she was in, with they basically tried to suck her life from her and put it into a tiny little robot, and then turn that robot into, what did Michael Jackson's performance be? A hologram. Do you remember Slave to the Rhythm? Do you remember the controversy that came out when Michael Jackson died, and then they did that hologram performance of Slave to the Rhythm, and people were pissed. People were like, that's too close. That was too real for me. That seemed really real. Like, what is happening with BET? What's going on? Like, you know, people are telling, it's out there. It can't be it more in front of you than it already is. People are bathing in blood and think it's funny on stage. That's not show blood. That is not cherry juice. Like, or syrup. I don't know what you think that is, but hello. There are people who are trying to get out, but there is no out. Once you're in, you're in. And that's the scary part of what I've always felt like, is there ever an out? Other survivors don't want to come forward, and this is why you don't hear other survivors. You don't get to speak with other survivors. Other survivors don't tell their stories because they're watching things like this and they see, I'm not going there. And I don't blame them. And this is why I didn't talk for a long time too, because of this. When we really start getting into more names, and when we tell you the things that Denzel Washington, Kevin Hart, Azalea Banks, Beyonce Knowles, Solange Knowles, a lot.
And the thing is, like,
Bill Cosby, yeah, Bill Cosby, yeah.
It wasn't an isolated incident.
It wasn't an isolated incident. Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't. Betty White, people that you would be shocked at, like, nah, can they? There are people that will rock your soul. Trust me. There's something that shakes in you and you can't. I don't know. There's a lot of things. Cedric the Entertainer.
Yeah, I was gonna say, a lot of times we hear things associated with some of those names, like, but then we brush it off. Like, I mean, we heard about Beyonce. Her drummer came out talking about, like, some things she was dealing with her. But then, where did that go? You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
You know, so
you don't tell on people like that. You don't. There's a lot of people that are in certain communities, and everybody knows those people pretty much, especially in the Black community and the white community, every community. But in the Black community, we know there are people like Diddy that you don't say nothing about. You just don't. You don't go there. You know that there are people that sit in very high places that nobody wants to poke at because of who they are. And if you do, it gets Clintoned. Their friends disappear. That situation disappears, and money talks in every language. Every language. It does not matter. People will be shocked, but then it needs to turn into a, after people are shocked, okay, we get it, the elites. But the thing is, you know about them. Everybody knows about them. It's just, that's Hollywood. Everybody knows about them, but that's entertainment. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. But then when you steer from the entertainment industry, and when you start to go to your everyday people, your doctors, your CPS in your areas, your child protective services, your organizations that people feel like are supposed to be this rescue, this white knight, when you actually pick at the people that are in your home, that uncle that nobody lets come around, that auntie that everybody knows not to stay too close to, that friend of the family that everybody knows not to hug too tight, it starts at the bottom, but nobody wants to start there either. Everybody wants to go get somebody else's dirt. No.
That's the thing. I just
really got to clean house.
the kids alone. Like, let kids be kids. Like, why do we even? It's the whole thing to even start talking about the kid aspect. Like, even all the indoctrination, all the stuff that's going on. But I guess if we stay on the sex trafficking and human trafficking part of this conversation, it's like, leave kids alone, man. Just let kids be kids. Like, why are we even introducing them to sex at all? But then, not even just that, but like again, hearing about, like I said, the SRA and all the other horrific things that's going on. Like, I mean, thank God I can sit here and talk to you in your right mind right now. Like, I can't even imagine being a child and growing up in these things and stuff. It's just,
I left for a minute. I can tell you that right now. We one day we'll get into that. More than you know. Way more than you know. But I so much has happened that I've had to bury it. Things that I really never understood and that I really, really never could be okay with, I really buried. Other things I learned to leave myself, basically. It took me a minute because, some things I really didn't know. When my mother got a stack of my CPS reports, literally, like, the fake Santa Claus files, like, yeah.
That was just what they gave me.
Yeah.
That's what they allowed me to have.
Yeah.
They redacted everything on it, and so it's probably way more than that.
Yeah, way more. But when I realized that a lot of things went backwards, and even went to a hospital that I was supposedly born at, found out a nurse signed for me. There's a lot of situations where you just can't put it together anymore. You have to find someone within yourself to cope with it, if that makes sense. A lot of stuff happened, and for a minute, I was not a crier. I feel like a baby now. I'm soft now. You can call me soft. I kind of squishy. Because before I was a rock, like, snitches are bitches that get stitches. You keep quiet. You know, there's no reason to cry because you're already broken anyway, so why cry over it? It's gonna happen. There was a time where I basically didn't even, I didn't have anything to really live for, especially before my mom. Nothing mattered. I have tried to kill myself. I'm not suicidal now. State that for the record. Don't be taking pieces of this video and being like, she said, no, I did not. There's been past times where, yeah, duh. There's been a lot of times where I felt like, why am I here? If I'm just this product, if I'm just this toy, if I'm just this punching bag, why?
You see why now?
Yeah. But before it took a minute, and I could promise you that I was not. I don't even know who I was. If I had a chance to deck me in the face a few years ago, I probably would have too. I don't know. It was this one. She's twisted. It's her fault. I
Thank God for Mama Bear. Everybody give it up for Mama Bear. Show what good humans look like.
Yeah. It was her fault. I was not this person. I'm telling you right now. I did not want to be around kids. I thought, like, how could a kid even look at me and have any type of respect for me? I did not. I was nothing close to who I am now. Nothing close. People met me and looked at me like, woo! I had some family who even asked my mom. My mom had many family arguments. Trust and believe that, over some people who were like, you took in who? And why? One holiday, people were like, "Oh, here's my new baby." Y'all, let me tell you a story. I had an Olaf balloon on a it was like a birthday party for me. I had an Olaf balloon. I was just a different type of person, okay? I like Olaf a lot. He knows about warm hugs. He's an ice cold person with a warm heart. Okay, I admire him. All right. So for that reason, I brought an Olaf balloon. Let me be. Okay? And I put it on a gate to tell everybody, like, this is where we at. And I didn't think we was in that type, that type of neighborhood to have an issue. Well, this girl took my balloon and I chased her ass down. My grandparents and everybody was at the house, like, so where's your daughter, Shelly? And she's like, well.
She's a little rough around the edges.
I got my balloon, but the thing was, like, listen, I'm not that type anymore. Like, you take the balloon. You want me to buy you another one? Like, I'm that type right now. But before, it was like, that's my balloon. Like, I never get shit. Let me have my balloon. Like, I chased them miles down. Oh my gosh, that girl thought she could run from me. It was not a good situation. It was like two of them. They were little shits. They took my balloon. And when I came back, everybody's standing in the kitchen like, are we blowing out the candles? And I was like, just, bitch, so she could run. Like, and everybody staring at your mom like, that's what you chose, huh? That's what we're doing? Okay. Many situations where I'm not the same person at all. And I'm not the same person at all, not even close. And I remember somebody who knew me, like, very well, like, after I found the girl, I remember somebody was like, you're not gonna beat her ass? And what's wrong with you? And I'm like, I just want my balloon. Like, I just, but the thing was, that's, like, that's my mind. That was my mindset. Like, I was the type that was in foster care. Like, I'll know when something was moved. It's my stuff. I barely have a few things. Leave it be. Don't touch it. Like, if I go on a visitation, don't touch my stuff. Like, you come back, the whole house is going on freaking restriction because I know somebody touched it. Like, I was a very big person about just I just wanted to be, and I'm definitely not the same person I was. Not even close. Not even close. There are some people who would probably see me now and be like, "Are you sure that's her?" I don't sound like her. But
Everybody's supposed to grow up and change at some point.
Yeah, there was a time where I woke up and wanted a reason to release. I wanted a reason to be, just give me a reason. Just give me one. There, I was, I'm different now, and I always used to tell my mom, because everybody's like, how did she stay along? How did she stay around? Because I pushed everybody away, ran everybody out, tested everyone. Like, nope, you're not gonna last. Just go, just go. And again, she's just twisted. I don't know what else to. I don't. She went through hell. I don't. You know what? There's so many things that went around about who my real mother was. Every person that ever had their hand in my life, especially when I was a child, was wicked. There's not one that if seen this right now, if they've seen this, or if you're watching this, that I want to talk to. There's not one that could tell me about, well, I tried to, you didn't do shit for me to try to stop anyone. Everybody knew and didn't do anything. My mother, at this point, I don't even know who the real woman is, and I don't want to know. At one point, I started asking questions. I don't know why. I just got curious. And then I ended up at that hospital, and somebody told me, well, the nurse signed for you, and it could have been a shift change. And I was like, oh, that's flag on a plate. That's too much. Never mind. Nope. You're good. You're good. You know what? She's right here. There is no changing that. There is no, I don't need any answers. This is the only woman that I know that has told me, showed me, and molded me into being the woman that I am. So there's nobody. She has been through court cases. People talk about Popo. She's had to sit on the phone. We've had our visitations cut because we had corrupt judges and attorneys on our cases. So there was nobody that I could talk to and that I could ever depend on, that I could ever anything with. And I've even had to call her because she couldn't be there. But she's been on the phone before when there's somebody hurting me, when there was somebody hurting me. She has had to, she's threatened some people. What a pimp, one of the pimps that I had, it was a family. It was a son and a swinging couple. And she found out, and let's just say Goodyear, his job, knew about it too. I've had a lot of very, very expensive wedding rings at 14, 15 years old that my mama took out in the middle of the street and smashed with a hammer. Like, I don't know what the hell's going on, but nope. We've been through hell together.
Mama Bear.
Yeah. And she's always, I'm just a mom. Like, no, the hell you're not. Just a mom would have tapped out a long time ago.
You're a little bit something. In a great way, though.
In a good way. No, we've had some hell. And people are like, well, is it just this person or is it just that person? And I'm like, oh, there is not enough time in a day. One day, I feel like, because we have amazing family, and we call 90 y'all family. There's no fan club. The fan clubs are the haters. the my family is my 90s, and we have people in Hawaii and Sweden and Australia and UK, and I'm like, I don't know where the middle point is for us, but at one point we're gonna have to have a meeting in the middle of wherever everybody's coming from, and have a huge party and like a whole thing, and have some other survivors come out, and we're gonna have Loza come out with some music, and we just gonna sit on the stage, we're gonna pass the mic, we're gonna get some food. We don't need a caterer, we're gonna cook it ourselves, we don't trust nobody. And we just we just gonna get into it. But it's a whole thing. I think we're gonna have to be sitting somewhere for at least 4 hours or so, because I feel like we talked for like, what have we been on here for, almost 2 hours, and it feels like nothing. And I'm like, oh, I feel like I didn't say anything. And then I get off, my mom was like, do you know what you just said? Oh, that's gonna be a good one. Like, okay.
Well, I want my invite. That's all I want. I want my invite.
No, there is no, you cooking too. Let's get it. And which way you going?
Y'all let me know. Y'all let me know.
We doing it.
I can now. No pressure. Not just because we having this conversation. I'll be a true professional. But I was gonna say, if I could audition to play in the movie, you know, I might win.
You what? Wait, you what?
I want to audition to play you in the movie. I love you.
Okay. It's gonna be a trilogy. It's gonna be a whole encyclopedia. You gonna have a whole recurring thing. So I'm sorry.
Even more
sorry
than the last.
No, hopefully they'll get Hollywood cleaned out. We can start fresh with decent people.
It can be independent.
There you go.
We don't need no help. We good.
If Hollywood cleans out,
if it clean out. If not, we gonna do something. I mean, we're not done yet, and we don't know what's going on, like we said. But as soon as we do, we might just need a minute to find somewhere safe, and then we'll be back. I don't know what that means. I don't know what it means at all. I mean, I thought at one point maybe we would get some type of, I had high hopes, and that's what I get. You know, you know what I mean? I started believing in things again, and that's what I get, because I was like, all right, maybe if we're gonna put this all out there, if we're gonna tell all this, maybe there will be some type of help, some real help. Nope. It's crazy though, because there will be organizations, quote unquote, that will run to help children, and that's the scary part. If you are past the age of 18, just like foster care, they give you the boot. At 18, I was begging for help still. If you are past the age of 18, nobody gonna hear you. But the thing is you looking at the homeless person that's the crackhead bad now, but do you know that homeless person used to be somebody
looking for help.
And then there was no more options. So then this is what they're dealt with. They're on the street. They don't have anybody listening to them. And now they crazy because they tried to explain to you the government did this, the government did that. No, they crazy. No, they're not. They just ran out of time, basically. Nobody wants to help unless it's cute. Nobody wants to help unless it's going to be gain. Nobody wants to help unless they're going to get something out of it. It can't just be for your own unselfish reasons. Somebody always has to do something because, oh, look at me, I did this. Can I get a tax credit? Like, it's everybody who wants something. That's the people who are helping.
Like I can't like I said, everything AA after Allie, I'm like just looking at it sideways now. I saw this photo and made me very emotional. I saw the photo like years ago. You probably familiar with it. It's like this little this lady that was giving the little boy some water in like Africa somewhere. He's very malnourished. Everybody probably
Yeah.
So I saw the video of it on YouTube. And you know, there was this moment where he fell and all this stuff, and I'm just looking at him, and I'm imagining my son, he's 2 years old and stuff, though. Probably like around the same.
Baby?
Yes, I'm gonna have to go get him and let y'all see. Yeah. He's probably in there like, where mama at?
Yeah, where'd she go? Oh, you got a baby.
now. What's going on? I sent him. He's NJ. But so I watched that video and it was making me. I was definitely more emotional to see the video. But then you know what got me afterwards though? Sitting here wondering like, wait a minute, because I know in the video she was saying like, oh, we're gonna take you with us, and I just like, what they do with that baby? Where that baby at? Like, I started.
Yeah, what are you
like,
thinking? Yeah.
Like on Instagram that I saw, apparently they had posted him again. He's like, look, he's better. Like years ago, this is the best. You know, I just like, okay.
Okay.
Like,
yeah.
do they really take care of that baby? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Man. One hand it's like, what are we gonna do? You know, with him.
People have to get a little bit more angry. Nobody angry yet. It's the same thing as like what's going on right now with, the new laws passing and stuff. Like nobody in California knows that they passed a law that basically an 18-year-old could have sex with an 8-year-old and get away with it. Nobody knows that, but they weren't paying attention because why? It don't concern me. Same thing with the grocery bag law. Same thing with the plastic straws. Everybody like, it doesn't concern me until it don't make sense to me. It don't concern me until it's on my heart. It don't concern me until it's in my house. I hear a lot of people are, I saw somebody say, well, my dad lost his job in the oil refinery and he's mad. And this is all because of, who you voted for. But then somebody came back at that person and was like, wait a minute, didn't you vote for them? Like, you know what I mean? But then it doesn't dawn on people. It doesn't dawn on people. And then they like, huh?
Right. No, I was just saying until it's too late. It's just,
yeah.
Why aren't you paying attention to the signs, man? Like,
yeah.
All these signs.
It's gonna take a lot of people getting angry. And I mean absolutely angry to be like, all right, it's time to do something. It's time. I don't know what I'm about to do, but I'm not just about to sit here. That's where we need to get to. I think Russia got to that point. If you were in the Telegram chat, I seen Russia. I love Russia. Get it, Russia out there. They citizens don't give a damn anymore. They like, you cops are lying, and our government is lying. And I don't care what y'all say. I don't care what curfew putting us out on. We all right here. What you gonna do? They joined arms at one point and stood right there. It was like, we're not moving. That's what this land was taken on. This is where we come from. Somebody disobeyed something. Somebody said no, and I say hell yeah. That said don't touch it, and I'm about to touch it. Like, you know what I mean? But it has to get there. These laws are not messing with people yet. They're like, oh, okay, somebody lost their job in the oil refinery. What does that have to do with me? Oh, it's not going to concern you until you get in your car and try to go get some gas, and gas is too expensive and you can't get to where you were going, and you remember that you were making a profit off of the check that you were getting from what you were doing and where you were working at, and that was getting you to and from work for the week. But then when you get to that gas station in a minute and see that I can't get to work, I can't get to where I need to be, what the hell is happening? Is remember, it's who you voted for, and you didn't give a shit. Like, if people understood that, if at one point, if you finally put your heart into it, and if you listen instead of just hearing something, and you listen to reply, or listen and not listen to reply, then we would be somewhere. But right now, nobody knows we are in war, and it's not going to hit people until there's a body count and it doesn't have COVID on the label. I think that's what it's going to take. It's going to take a child coming out of the ground. It's going to take somebody seeing a child's lifeless body that was chewed up and ate up and beaten and tortured and raped so many times that their body looks like ground beef now. That is what it's going to take for people to, okay. But until then, we got people sitting at dinner tables with their own family and can't even have a conversation over chicken. Like, I feel like people, Thanksgiving and Christmas, a lot of people were like, listen, we didn't even get to turkey. Okay. We didn't get turkey. I got in the house. Turkey was still cooking. I tried to talk to some family. We got in a big fight and I had to leave because I can't even talk to them because they're not drawing it's a clear day. I just want somebody I'm holding the strip and nobody want to land on it. Like, it's going to take that. And that's the part that sucks. But until then, there is an army. And like I said, there was nobody that bust down a door. There was no army that came in and took us out. I've been arrested a few times and recycled right back by Brotherhood cops, Brotherhood shelters, centers that I'll get into. That is in my insurance videos that one day I'm out because they're very big centers known in Florida and Los Angeles. And I don't know, it's gonna take something. It's gonna take something bigger. You know what?
What?
The we can go here. All right.
Oh.
So
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Putting the seat back.
Man, we got a little podcast collection place. You can get you one of what's it called?
So okay. Woo! We're gonna do this. I got this. All right. There was a woman in Riverside County Child Protective Services. I AWOL'd for a year at one point. He was about 17. I was dealing with the pimp that I told you guys about, Zach, that you seen threaten me, his wife, Aaliyah, and her son. My foster parents have been paid off numerous times. My social workers were in on it. My judges were corrupt. My attorneys were corrupt. They knew a lot. At one point, I told CPS the truth. I told them about, or they knew when my mom had been calling and, hey, this is happening. Let her come with me. I was trying to fight to be with my mom. Nobody wanted me with my mom, but nobody could have me. My bio family came out of nowhere, and they're not bio. I do these loosely because there's surrogate family, whatever they are. But they came out of nowhere and they made sure that they worked. Mind you, I was taken away from these people for a reason. There was more than just me. I'm one out of 6 kids in that house. Okay? All girls. All right? So I was taken out of that home. She fought and made sure that nobody could have me. She didn't want me, but nobody could have me. I went, at one point, it got to one of my agencies, I was being beat and raped by my foster dad, my foster brother. A lot went on. And I had enough. At a certain point, I just had enough.
In a year's time, I had called and complained, and they moved her 19 times, 19 foster homes, 19 high schools. she would be getting abused
It
or
was more
raped or
than 19
trafficked.
times because some
So
of
that
them
was
I didn't
just
get
in
to go
that.
to schools.
Yeah.
There I went to 19 high schools total. I graduated from my 20th high school in Riverside, in a continuation school. That does not, I lost count of how many foster homes I was in. I definitely lost count of how many group homes I was in, because I don't think at some point I didn't stay long. I didn't really stay longer than a week or two at places. And the places that I did stay for long, I was in other respite homes or in other foster homes with, they have the respite places where basically they're attached, but you're not in the home with the said foster parents. There was an agency, a foster agency, that at one point I was beat really bad by my pimp. It was for going in his wallet and finding out about a lot of things. He cracked my ribs. I couldn't breathe, just sitting still. There was a lot going on. And then in a foster home, I was put into a hospital because I was talking back to one of my pimps, my female pimps. Her husband is a doctor, so they put me in the hospital, and then she was coming in dressed in scrubs and making me sick to stay in the hospital.
Injecting her with stuff and putting stuff in her IVs.
Then I was auctioned to Russia. And that's when and I had already been with the man who ordered me before. So I knew when I went back, that was it. He was going to kill me. There was no, I'm shocked that I made it back in the first place. So the next time I knew he was going to kill me. So that's when I ran. We talked to the supervisor. Her exact words were,
the CPS supervisor.
The CPS supervisor. Her exact words were, if you run again, and if I find you, I will ship you to Arizona and you will never come back and no one will ever find you. She was the supervisor. Her name is Sunny Minasu Tinderelli. She works in Riverside County Protective Services. Yeah.
And this is somebody that was supposed to be helping you.
This is the supervisor. Yeah. She helps a lot of children. Helps. Yeah.
The corruption, y'all.
Arizona has a huge trafficking problem. There's a lot that goes on in Arizona, so she was making a bigger threat than we probably realized at the time. Saying, "Oh, I'm just going to ship you somewhere." Shipping you to Arizona is kind of like a last stop before they send you out of the country, kind of a thing. So there was just a lot.
There was a lot, and she was very hateful. I think I still have the written letter to her. I think we still have that written letter. I wrote her a letter and I saved it. There was no talking to anybody. There was no, she threatened me. She told me, if something else comes up.
So then that made Allie afraid to tell me that there was problems in her foster home, that things that were happening in her foster home, because I was on the phone with them right away, like, get this shit straight, knock it off, move her, she needs to be in a different home. So it just created this whole extra chaos that didn't need to be, and it's all corruption based.
Yeah. I still remember the names of my social workers too. We'll be dropping some more of those later.
But anybody that's has an organization or an agency that deals with kids, they need to be put under the microscope on a consistent basis. They need to have a checks and balance. Most of the places need to be scrapped and started over. There's so much corruption going on.
Yeah, you know, and that's the thing, like, before I left for CPS, before I was put into CPS, you know, I was going through hell. I was put into CPS, it got way worse. And then, and then, you know, I was already basically doing things on my own. And I started begging for CPS's help, but at the same time, my house is immaculate. My surrogate, whatever anybody wants to call her, she's not my mother, but she dated a lot of authority. So she dated the chief of police. She dated my campus supervisors of my school, who used to take me behind my school all the time. People knew him as my play dad. And he was able to get away with things. He could pull me out of class. He could take me home after school. He could do whatever he wanted. She never stayed with somebody who wasn't not married and who wasn't in authority. But everybody knew this about her. Everyone knew this about her. And in Black community, we know that a lot of people in the Black community swear up and down that it just don't happen. That doesn't happen in my house. Or it's harder to accept. And every Black woman in my life has been wicked. Completely wicked, because there were people who knew better and they just stood by and watched. And I feel like you're just as guilty. There's nothing you could say to me now. Like, I used to go into places and they're like, oh, you made it. Oh, you're getting older. Oh, I didn't know you were gonna make it to get old. And I'm like, oh, thanks. Without your help, you know, there's nothing no one can say to me. I'm pretty sure that whoever was on something big was always, she basically, whoever she was, surrogate, whatever, she screwed her way to whatever she had to do. Married, not married men, whatever. So much stuff happened. And, you know, some of my sisters in that family used to hate me, and they used to, you get so much attention. I'm like, it's not the attention that you think I'm getting. I'd love to not, please don't give me so much attention. You know, I was the one that was targeted completely, and it was my fault because no one understood. And, you know, there was a big mirage and a big facade put up too. She got a lot of money on child support, numerous things, numerous government funds that she received because all of her kids did not have the same father. So she received a lot of funds, but she didn't receive funds from me. And she used to tell me that whenever she beat the hell out of me, I don't get money for you. So, yeah. It don't matter anymore. You know, I can't stand her. I can hate her. I hate her, and I swear I would never be able to ever have a conversation with her. I don't care. It doesn't speak. It doesn't bother me. It's whatever. But everybody wondered in that family, like, why didn't she come back? Why did she just go into foster care, not come back like the other girls? There was nothing to come back to. I took care of myself, and I did what I had to do. And I don't even know who I was as a child. I don't have a baby picture of myself. I don't know who I would ever be because I didn't get that chance. I there was always this facade that she was this amazing mother. The neighbors knew. The neighbors knew. They always saw CPS cars. They always saw the police. I can't tell you how many times we went to court for when I was a child and my babysitter hurt me too much. And, you know, every time because she didn't receive money for me that she needed, I was the one that was pawned off at the daycares and at random child sitters that I'm still fucking dealing with now. And and she went to court. She went to court, and I will never forget being like, I don't even think I was like 7. I had a serious like pee issue when I was a kid. I did. Anxiety. so like I had an issue, and I couldn't hold it. And I remember peeing on myself in the courtroom because I remember she lost a case against my babysitter. And I don't know what that was about because I was so small. I just remember standing in the courtroom and I remember them arguing, and I remember a bailiff coming over to her to empty her purse and give her money. She had to give the sitter money still, like she lost the case or whatever. I had bruises. This woman beat the hell out of me and raped me and her freaking boyfriend, and she set me outside in the middle of the cold in Ritchie Canyon in a driveway and waited till my other sisters got off the bus to find me in the middle of the driveway after she beat me and they were done with me. And somehow she lost the case. And I peed in the courtroom, and I remember she beat the hell out of me in the bathroom. It was my fault. If she ever sees this, I swear to God, I have nothing to say to you. You don't want to talk to me. You never want to talk to me. I'm laughing. You're not laughing. I'm so sorry.
No. I mean, yeah, like.
Yeah, it's fine. This is my way of trying not to let the tears come too much. I don't talk about her. Oh, I don't like talking about her. I don't even get into that part of me, but I swear we're just getting to the more that I do like interviews and talks. I know we're gonna eventually get to like younger me, and apparently that's what people want to hear about, but I don't think I think that's gonna be in a book or but sometimes it really irritates me because like the things that I really don't talk about, people just don't get. And it's like, oh, the proof, oh, the proof is there. The proof is there. It's there. And it's woo, it's fine. It's fine, because you know what, there is nothing that she could ever say to me, and if ever and like if somebody ever did talk to her, I would love for her to explain to me how I was still put at daycare. I was still with a babysitter. It was still my fault. I was still in the wrong for speaking out. I still did it the wrong way by saying something. It just Sorry. The things I've been through, it doesn't matter anymore. Yeah, but if we really wanted to get into reports, or if we really wanted to go backwards, or we could go backwards, or we could talk about some things that I am still very angry about, but I just had to say whatever, because you know what? I can't take it back.
This is why I said what I said before about like people should just leave kids alone, like stop messing with kids in this way because they don't see how this affects people throughout their life. You know what I'm saying? Like these are things that have happened to you when you were young and it still affects you. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
prayerfully, I'm not talking to nobody right now that is on
yeah.
this line. But if I am, leave the kids alone. Like,
Right?
really,
How hard is that? That shouldn't be a hard concept.
Yeah.
reasons. Like, just and really, really, and if your parents really think about that, because honestly, like I know that my family, I believe my son's grandparents, they all want to like just take them, or they all want to. One grandma, my husband's grandmother, is like, oh, just let them stay with me for a month. I'm like, who does that though? Nobody don't really do that. No
She's like, I'll pawn him.
nobody would do that. Like I can't just say, not that I think anybody would do anything, but at the same time, you know, well, I mean, I've said this on my podcast. Anybody that's already listened to me on the podcast, I've had this confession that basically, long story short, I was molested by a babysitter. Now, by the grace of God, I don't have a horrific story. I just pretty much, I just feel like for me, the situation was more so I was just introduced to things I shouldn't have been introduced to. Like I shouldn't have been kissed when I was little. I shouldn't have been touched or whatever the case is. And there's still residuals of that, in regards to me growing up with I mean, I guess there's a reason the show is called God, Sex, and Love. These are the things I would think about all the time. And I'm like, here I am growing up throughout life thinking about this stuff, and it's like, here I am, this horny person all the time. Like, these are effects that people have from things that happen to them. And so, leave kids alone, man. Like, stop introducing them to sex right now. Like, stop trying to introduce them to all this stuff. Like, let them just be kids and be innocent. And with parents, we got to be more, pay more attention to who we letting our children stay with and all of that stuff. Like, because honestly, I know you when you talk, it's like you say sometimes I guess you feel like you feel guilty to a certain extent about some things, or even with the whole situation of feeling like things may have been your fault, but I mean, you were the child in the situation. So at the end of the day, I've worked with that too, because I'm like, why didn't I say anything? But I'm like, well, I didn't necessarily know anything was wrong until I grew up and learned that, oh, you shouldn't be touched in certain places. You know what I mean? Like when they started to teach you about places in school, that had already happened. So I was like, oh, that wasn't you know what I mean? Like that shouldn't have happened to me. Oh, okay. And so I grew up to realize what that was and everything. I just feel like children don't grow up thinking and doing these things. Like I feel like, or they don't come out the womb thinking and doing these things.
Yeah.
It has to be introduced to them. So I just wish people would leave kids alone. I wish parents would be more mindful of who they have watching their kids. Like all of this stuff matters. At the end of the day, and then on unfortunate cases, like I mean, but you're talking about it at a whole nother level as well. If you're a parent that is not, I guess, being a good parent. So I mean, it's
I lost her. Oh, there she is.
I'm sorry, say what now?
Yeah, I got you. You glitched for a second, but I got you.
Oh no, I think I just sighed.
Oh, okay.
I just don't even know at this point. Like, um, we're here, Allie. You know what I'm saying? We hear you. I'm sorry that you had to go through all these horrific things throughout your life. Um, I mean, if it brings you some peace to know that you're being a voice for the voiceless right now, and that you're being heard around the world, and that your story is resonating with a lot of people, hopefully that brings you some peace. I mean, I know that it's This is why you should talk to an actor because you feel people's stuff. Or at least someone like me. No, but
Oh, yeah.
this world is crazy. Like, and
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm
why do
sorry.
we hurt each other? Like, why?
It's people fighting about the wrong things. people
The wrong
people
stuff. Like,
yeah. People out screaming for the wrong things. We got things on the news.
stop
Sorry.
watching the news.
Yeah, right? But you know the sorry. The things on the news is like, is that even important? Like what are we even talking about? Like the things on the news right now, if you go on the news right now everywhere, the things that should be on the news, oh my gosh, stop. Is not. Oh my gosh. I am so sorry.
You done brought them out of me. We all might as well cry right now. Throw some tears for everybody. Throw some Everybody
Oh.
post a selfie of your tears right now. Show Allie she's not alone, y'all. Show her. You can make a collage of all the tears.
I know, right? Like, I swear, if anybody wanted to make like a whole thing of me crying, like, there's so many. Like, I'm sorry for crying on so many people's platforms. It's just like, woo, I cried up my own. Like, like, oh my gosh, woo! I'm so sorry.
You good, sis.
I got the air on and it's snowing outside. Like, like, sorry. Ah.
Man.
Whew.
I mean,
Reset. Ah.
well, I think you're incredibly strong.
Thank you. And so are you.
Man.
You went through nobody's story is bigger than somebody else's. Stop it. I'm so sorry. I might have to get off of here first. I'm so sorry if I gotta cut this, but I do not want y'all to see this ugly side of me because can't breathe. I'm so 1 second. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Ooh. It's like air. It's like not. Oh, I'm sorry. It's not. I can't breathe. I'm so. We definitely have to do this again, but I need to. Whew, I'm so sorry. I need to step out of this car.
Okay.
This is definitely a panic
Well,
attack.
how about I do this? I will end the live, and
Okay. I'm so sorry. I'm
um,
so sorry.
yeah. So I'm
Ooh.
live right now for everyone else, but
Oh, this is so stupid. I can breathe. I can breathe. Just
you okay?
yeah. Just oh.
You want me to end live?
I'm
I
gonna need
end live.
right.
I mean, we can still chat if you want to.
Again.
Yeah, we could come back. I just need a minute. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna need to. This is so ugly. Can I just? I'm gonna turn the camera to my mom. It's so ugly. Give me 1 second. I'm so. Hold on.
Okay. Be careful then. Well, hey, Ma.
Hey, how are you?
God say some love.
Right?
What did you think when Allie was like, "Oh, we're gonna go do God, sex, and love"? You like, huh?
No, we watched a movie and you're doing a good job. I was proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
Hang on. I'm hoping Hollywood gets cleaned out and decent regular people can just take over and do what it was intended to do in Hollywood. So
Thank you. Yeah, hopefully so. Hopefully so. Like I said, look, AA at the alley. I can't look at it. I'm like looking at everybody sideways, like.
Oh yeah, you know, most of us don't even know somebody that hasn't been abused in some fashion. Um, you know, I stop and take count of the people you know, your friends, your family. Everybody's been affected in some way, and we got to do better. You know, we got to protect the kids coming up. Um, so that's kind of just what it's about.
Exactly. Exactly. And like I said, I know I've been saying it throughout the thing, but oh Lord, now I'm looking at you now from the cry too. I mean, I said, thank God for you, man. Like, where would this lady be? Like, if you weren't.
She's a good kid. I mean, she's a great kid. I could always see that in her. She had a lot of rough edges when she first came, but she's a good kid. She's an amazing kid. Strongest person I know.
Like,
So.
like I said, I mean, I know that, you know, you can just see like what you mean to her and what, and then even now, like what you're doing as a mom, you know, they're protecting her and stuff, like showing her that love and stuff. Like I'm sure she shows you every day that she's grateful for that, but just as somebody just observing, it's a beautiful thing, you know, to see.
She's a good
And,
kid. Like, how can you not? I mean, it just humanity. It's just being human. So, I think we're gonna go ahead and cut. I think we're gonna go ahead and end right now, and then I'll have her get in touch with you like maybe later tonight.
I'm so sorry, y'all. We'll be back.
Okay.
She's just having a little bit of a panic attack, so let me go help her with that. And we love you guys, everybody, and thank you for listening. And I will talk to you soon.
All right. Love you all. Love you too. Bye.
Love you guys. Sorry. Love you. Love you.
I'm here anytime. I told you that.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.